I didn't know we were being, because I was about to say something. So thankfully I spotted the camera just in time.
So Tara, tell us a little bit. I mean, it's an all-female production company, basically everything.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the choice around that.
So it actually comes from working at Maynardville, which was my first job out of university, as you know. And doing that for 6 years was, you know, you'd watch these incredible people come in, and obviously a lot of the roles in Shakespeare are for men. A lot of the roles in theatre are for men traditionally, at least the really good kind of meaty ones. And I started noticing, you know, you'd have people come and audition, and after a couple of years they just kind of give up because they're like, you know, I'm auditioning for like 3 female roles, one of which isn't really speaking very much. I'm not the young, like, blonde heroine person. I'm not the romantic lead. I'm not the nurse. I'm not the funny person. I'm actually just someone who would seriously like to, like, dig into something meaty. And I found that there wasn't really kind of a space for that. So a lot of it kind of stemmed from that. And then why I was so adamant that it was a creative team behind the scenes as well, all-female creative team behind the scenes, like the people who made, that's our cupboard set in the background there, 3 women, power tooled it, jigsawed it, everything. And that's really amazing to me. And I think where that came from was, you know, I've worked for 10 years. I do a whole lot of different things. I direct and I write and I do producing, and I've had a very particular kind of luck and fortune within sort of theatre. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, saying this with a bit of the wit brood aan die arm, maar I think I found it really, really difficult to like access some spaces or some festivals or some theatres, or to be taken really seriously. Like a lot of times I'll walk into a venue and I'll be second guessed. And I, like last year at National Arts Festival, for example, had cocky, he was fine by the end, but such a who was running our venue, and he was like, oh, you can't do that with the lights. And I'm like, no, but I've worked on this board before. He's like, no, I'm the tech person. I'm like, okay, cool, can you just, and then I just did the whole show myself. And I was like, it didn't happen to any of the other people in the venue because they were all dudes. And I think what happens in theatre, particularly because it's such a small industry, people you go watch a play and you go, because the sound. They'll go watch a play and they'll go, oh, who did the set? Because I really like it. I'd like to work with this person again because they did this thing. So people then start to hire similar people because they do the work and they're very good at what they do and they have the opportunity to be seen. So audiences kind of keep getting fed a similar, not even similar style. Like, I mean, they're incredibly versatile people working constantly, but I think that there are a lot more people who do things. Case in point, when I was looking for a music person, and I could think, you think of Charles Johan and James Webb, and you have a whole host of them sort of off the top of your head because they're working a lot in very high profile things, so those are the names that kind of stick in your head. And I couldn't think of a single woman and I felt terrible, so I put it on Facebook and I had a list of 42 within like 3 hours, that people that I knew, but I know them because they play music with a friend of mine at a gig, but I don't know them as a composer, or I don't know them as a systems designer or anything like that, because I think because in theatre you have to have a lot of strings to your bow, it kind of spreads out, so you meet people from different... Anyway, the point of what I'm saying is I could think of dudes really easily, but I couldn't think of women at all. And I try very actively now, after having worked with men quite a lot in my career, to balance it out and to kind of go, okay, cool, how do I... I'm in a position of power where I have some money, I have jobs, and I can actually employ people. How do I put my money where my mouth is and actually, start to shift that? So, yeah.
Oh, Patrick, he swings the axe some nights.
Really?
Yeah, no, he also appreciates like a wide variety of music. You know, it's not just one thing.
So it's doof, dark metal,
Lots, all of them.
country.
I mean, this is embarrassing, but sometimes girl bands as well. I don't know. Sometimes when they go a little bit harder, I can get involved.